It was an honor to have served alongside you. We will continue to carry on your sacrifice from here.
Today, friends, family, co-workers, and the community all said a final goodbye to Beech Grove police officer Brian Elliott and paid tribute to his service and ultimate sacrifice. An emotional day, to say the least. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence. And today we have complete live team coverage of Officer Elliott's memorial services. So we have been covering it for the last several hours, and we begin here at 4 with the burial at Crown Hill Cemetery. And that's where our Jenny Runovich is live. Just in the last hour, sections of Crown Hill Cemetery have been filled with people responding. Jenny?
Yeah, Felicia, that ceremony, that graveside service just finished up about a half an hour ago. You can actually see some of the patrol cars now leaving the cemetery. This was steeped in tradition as they laid their brother, Officer Brian Elliott, to rest in the Heroes of Public Safety section at Crown Hill. Those were the rifle volleys and the playing of taps during the ceremony at the cemetery this afternoon. Part of the many military traditions that are also used at police funerals, from pipers and drummers to a riderless horse to the presentation of the American flag to Officer Elliott's family. At the graveside, hundreds of his fellow officers stood shoulder to shoulder on this bitter cold February day. Everyone quiet, everyone solemn, everyone honoring a life lost too soon. Officer Elliott was buried in the Heroes of Public Safety section at Crown Hill. It's a memorial created in 2002 to honor fallen officers. It is a serene place befitting heroes where people can visit and pay tribute. The officers who came here to Crown Hill to be a part of this moment in person and support the Elliott family came from all over, from Franklin to Fort Wayne, Marion to Mishawaka, all here to let the family know we've got you. You are not alone. They showed that at the end of the service, too, with the final file by. It's a poignant moment where each officer and family member takes a carnation and places it on Officer Elliott's casket. The white of the flower symbolizing a good life and career, purity and peace. The red, bloodshed and sacrifice. We saw a lot of community members actually out here along 34th Street when the procession was headed into Crown Hill Cemetery today. We saw a retired police officer from IPD, kids and their parents, even their pets coming along, some people holding signs and American flags. Tonight at 5 o'clock, we'll hear from one of them about why they chose to be here to pay tribute in person. Dustin and Felicia.
We'll look forward to it, Jenny. We heard from so many people throughout the day today, members of the public who said, we've got your back. We want you to know. The local Beech Grove Police Department and also the family of this officer, Officer Elliott, we've got your back.
That the community has their back.
Yeah.
An emotional day, certainly, and it began with Officer Elliott's funeral held at Beech Grove High School.
And that's where our Ashton Hackman is live this afternoon with a look at today's moving service. Ashton?
Dustin and Felicia, moving indeed. This, of course, is a somber day, but it's one rooted in deep tradition, one that is done far too many times when there is a line of duty death. Family, friends, and fellow officers of Brian Elliott filled Beech Grove High School today to deliver some of those tributes, and it's one that they couldn't have prepared for. I do want to show you this sign sitting outside Beech Grove High School. Thank you for your service, Officer Elliott, one of the many tributes to what countless people have called a Beech Grove guy. This was the place that he graduated from, and today law enforcement from across the state, even the country, filling the gym here at Beech Grove High School. It's the same community that he served for the last 2 years. We heard so many tributes to the dedication and charisma that Elliott brought to work with him each day. Of course, he leaves behind a wife, Erin, parents, Robert and Paula, a brother and sister, and of course, countless friends and fellow officers here in Beech Grove. Police Chief Michael Maurice says the department will never give up honoring the sacrifice that Officer Elliott made.
It would be easy to pack it up and quit. It would be easy to say it isn't worth it. But that's not in our DNA. And it wasn't in Brian's DNA either. We cannot quit. That would only diminish the sacrifice that Brian made and the legacy that he leaves behind.
Brian Elliott leaves a legacy behind far too soon, and it's his legacy beyond the badge that has the most meaning and impact to those that knew him the most. Ahead at 5, we will share part of the eulogy delivered by his best friend today here at his funeral service at Beech Grove High School. Dustin and Felicia.
All right, Ashton, thank you so much reporting live at the high school.
Dozens lined Main Street outside the Beech Grove Police Department as well to pay their respects to Officer Elliott.
Jenna Webster was there, and can you share more of what that moment was like there? What did you see, Jenna?
Yeah, Felicia and Dustin, it was, we heard Jenny and Ashton kind of describe their moments of this funeral today in very similar terms. It was quiet, it was somber, it was just a moment to reflect. So many people came and stood outside the Beech Grove Police Department here in the snow, in the cold, and this was just a final moment for the funeral to pause before continuing on their procession to Crown Hill Cemetery. A final moment to pause and listen to Officer Brian Elliott's final tour, end of duty call. Take a listen.
Beech Grove 59, Officer Brian Elliott. On February 16th, 2026, Officer Brian Elliott of the Beech Grove Police Department answered his final call. While investigating a disturbance, Officer Elliott was fatally shot. There is no greater love than a man that would lay down their life for another. Beech Grove Police Department, Officer Brian Elliott, Beech Grove 59, is 1042. He has gone home for the final time.
That final 1042 call is impactful to listen to, emotional for many people to hear. Since last Monday night, Officer Elliott has remained out of service, was considered to still be on duty, marked out on his last run. This radio call now, which was broadcast outside the Beech Grove Police Station for everyone to hear inside all the processional cars and really across Indiana, signifies the end to his duty. One woman who arrived here at 10:30 this morning to pay her respects says it brings her to tears every time she hears it. And I was talking to one man who says he's good friends with many Beech Grove police officers and met Officer Elliott last year when he was providing security for the Holy Name Catholic Church's Oktoberfest celebration. Take a listen.
That's when you kind of see them kind of talk on more of a personal level rather than a professional. So just a neat young man that was just a year ahead of my son at Beech Grove High School. So just that when you see that age, any age being lost, but at 33, it's just a senseless act that should not have happened.
Now, as the procession came through, they were flanked on either side by people holding both American and the thin blue line flags. Some people even brought signs calling him a hero, but throughout it all, the honor guard stood at his squad car memorial holding onto a photo of Officer Brian Elliott. Now, his family asks for donations to be made to Pepper's Pals Cat Rescue instead of flowers. That was actually according to the nonprofit where Officer Brian Elliott and his wife Erin adopted their rescue cat Soup. So just one of the ways we're kind of getting a look into his life outside of his career as a law enforcement officer. Dustin, Felicia.
All right, Jenna Webster reporting this afternoon. Thank you for taking us there and giving us the community response of just really a tough story and a tough incident that has happened to this entire community. Thank you, Jenna.
Just 33 years old. We also did hear so much about who Officer Elliott was as a husband and a son and a friend. We're going to hear more about that still ahead at 5 and 6. And if you'd like to watch the funeral, we have the funeral service in its entirety. It was also very moving. A number of eulogies from the chief and the mayor, the officer's best friend as well. You can watch it in its entirety on WTHR+.